Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we're taking a look at another new Civivi. This is the Civivi Riffle. Now, before I go any further in this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. Now, let's take a look at some specifications on this knife right here. We have an overall length of 8 inches with a blade length coming in at 3.5 inches as well as a cutting edge at 3.5 inches. We have a blade width of 1.125 inches with a blade thickness of 0.12 inches. That blade steel is 14C28N with a drop point style blade featuring a very nice hollow grind, a handle length coming in at 4.5 inches with a handle thickness coming in at 0.48 inches. We have a handle width of 0.875 inches and handle material of some pretty nice micarta. A few micarta offerings or micarta options for this guy. This is the dark green, and we have a user of tip up right hand only, I think. Now, I saw this hole down here, but then there's not really kind of an extra little milled out area for the screw to actually go down. Because if you look, it is kind of in the same area. So to be honest, I don't know. I'm going to play it safe here and say that it's right hand only, but you may be able to move that clip over and screw it down to where maybe that screw is just sitting above the hole and it's not completely recessed like the other one. I'm not sure, but everything I saw said right hand only, so I'm going to just go with right hand. Buy at your own risk if you're a lefty. We have a price of $55.25. Not bad at all. Pretty darn good, actually. As a matter of fact, with this knife, I really had to take a step back because I got it in a little while ago. I was ready to do the review on it a few days ago. I wanted to be one of the first to get it on the table and get it out to you guys, but I realized with Civivi, I get ahead of myself sometimes. I don't want to keep doing that. I want to give the best honest review I can give you in a timely manner. But sometimes you get these Civivis in and they're just so ahead of the rest of the competition in their price realm. You know, $55.25, nothing really comes close to this in that price range. So it's tough. And I wanted to just take a couple extra days, really use it more, carry it more, so I wasn't jumping the gun on this. So that is why, you know, this one, I know it's been reviewed by a couple other reviewers already. That's why I'm slightly ever so late to the party on this one, but I think it was worth it because I wanted to be sure what I was telling you guys was really what I thought and I wasn't just caught in the moment. So there's that. Now let's do some size comparisons real quick. Take a look at what we got here. Start out with some Benchmades. We have the Benchmade Bug Out as well as the Benchmade regular size Griptilian. So as you can see, pretty close there. Pretty close. Obviously, it is going to be slightly longer than the Bug Out and a little more in line with the Griptilian. Actually, almost exactly the same length as the Griptilian there. And we'll take a look at some Spydercos here. We have the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, as well as the Shaman. And of course, not quite as long as either one of these. Spydercos usually are the longest knives on the table during some size comparisons. But as you can see, it's really not too far off from the PM2. The PM2 is slightly longer, but not by much. Not by much. And we'll go one more round here with the TRM Atom. And I would be remiss if I did not include the Civivi Elementum because everyone knows it. I think most people love it. And it's a Civivi. So there you go. Obviously a lot bigger than the Civivi. Considerably bigger than the Civivi, actually. So there you go. There's your size comparisons. And let's get to talking about this knife because I had to take a couple extra days for a good reason because I really, really, really like this knife right out of the box, and I just wanted to be sure that it was what I thought it was, and it turned out to be just that. So this blade, there is a lot to love about this blade. You have a razor sharp edge reading anywhere from 10 thousandths up towards the top of the blade down to just 12 thousandths towards the sharpening choil, which makes for an absolutely razor sharp knife. With that 14C28N, it's going to hold a pretty good edge for you, and that thickness not being too thick at 0.12 inches makes for an excellent slicing blade. And we have just a very attractive blade shape overall. This is obviously a drop point, but it's got a good continuous belly all the way through, which I actually always like. I like the way this tip comes up here to where there's not a whole lot of belly at the tip. You have all your belly really kind of right here. And I don't know why I'm having trouble focusing. There we go. So you got the belly about right here, and then it kind of flattens off a little up towards the tip, which makes for a very useful, versatile tip that will excel in just about any type of cut you're trying to do. And the cutout on this blade it's about as close to perfect as you can get. At first, I wasn't sure how much I liked the actual design of the cutout and how well it went with the knife, but the more I carried it, the more I used it, the more I fidgeted with it. We will talk more about that in the action, but it is just an absolutely excellent cutout with very, very, very nice jimping on the spine. Bordering too aggressive for me, though. I will say I like a finer jimping. Maybe just some chamfering would have done it for me too. I'm not sure, but it bites into your finger really well. It definitely works. It's extremely functional. It works very well. But I think if you use this knife a lot and started to use it hard, you would definitely start to feel that on your thumb. Which, I mean, it's not the end of the world for me. My thumb's also a little raw because I've been carrying my Microtech Combat Troodon for a while, so that may have something to do with it too. That's got a pretty strong trigger on that guy. But again, the 14C28N steel on this blade, 14C28N is, in my opinion, one of the GOATs when it comes to budget steels. It's kind of crazy that they're using it on budget knives now and still only charging $55.25 for it. Just an excellent offering at a really good price and a really good quality steel that's going to just be excellent for EDC. So I'm really, really happy. I'm ecstatic to see Civivi using this over D2. I'm so over D2, and I could not be happier to see Civivi incorporating 14C28N in their knives. And lastly, we have a flipper with perfect jimping. This is absolutely perfect jimping for a few reasons. One, it goes from the top and the side. Now, I don't want to get too much into this because we're going to cover this in action as well, but the jimping it feels great. It's obviously a finer jimping than the top up here, so it's completely fine on your fingertip, and the shape of the flipper overall makes for it to be very, very versatile, very easy to deploy the blade. Just an excellent flipper on this knife. Going into handle and ergos, again, it excels. Ergos are great. It allows for my hand to get a very nice full 4-finger grip, and the way the handle kind of curves down at the bottom here also just makes for a very, very comfy positioning in my hand that I really, really like a lot. You also have very easy access to the liner with just enough cutout to where you can get in there no problem, close the blade. Very smooth on close, of course. It's a Civivi. What else would you expect? You also have that good old regular Civivi pocket clip that they have actually made a very slight change to where it's a little more of an arch here and not so much of a flat downslope on the ramp. So another nice little subtle improvement Civivi made that I do actually like. The pocket clip does not make any type of hot spot on your hand. Feels pretty darn good overall. And really nice micarta. Pretty nice micarta. I don't know if I'd say really nice. It's more of a budget kind of micarta, but again, how much can you ask for on a knife that's $55? I mean, that's kind of where we're getting at here. But again, you can see the grain pretty well. Has a very good micarta feel to it. Pretty tacky. Has some good texture to it. It does what micarta should do. It gives a good grip on the knife, and this does look really good. I like how you can see the grain enough. I thought about oiling it, but I'm not going to oil this one. I'm going to just let my hands do the magic on this one. And I really, really, really like how the dark green micarta matches with the bead blast. Not matches, but pairs with the bead blast on the 14C28N steel. Just a really nice look overall. Nothing that pops too much. Nothing that Nothing that stands out that looks like it shouldn't be there. I do wish they would, I wish they'd calm that C down again, because nothing else is really satin on this knife. Well, except for, the other side, the pivot and the small screws. But I'm not gonna take any points away from it for that. That's just a very, very nitpicky thing I noticed that, it's kind of whatever. But you also have a very nice hidden lanyard hole back here. I'm getting to the point to where I really don't care about lanyard holes at all, because I've realized that I'm probably never going to use them, but a lot of people do, so it's worth pointing out. And I like the way that, I wish every company that made pocket knives I wish they would put a lanyard hole on it, because I think enough people like it to where you should. But the way they do it, this is how it should be done, because you can't see it. You cannot see it when you're holding the knife, but it's there, and it's easy to use, and it's at the top of the knife, which is a good place to put it. It's not like, all the way up here. Just a great place to put it. Really, really like that. Very well done there. I like the micarta backspacer. The only thing that I'm not too hot about is there's like some frayed ends here when they went to put it in. So kind of looks a little sloppy, but again, I think that's something that will kind of wear down and look a lot better over time through use and carry. So again, not the end of the world, but worth pointing out. My only gripe on this handle, and it's kind of a big gripe, I'm finding it very annoying. So up here on the pivot, you have a T8, which is great. That's what you should have. I mean, good job there. Then down here on the clip, T6s. But then on the rest of this hardware, and I'll show you guys because I'm a little torn. I'm not sure if I want to use a T8 or T9, because here we have a T8, if you can see that. T8 right there. And it fits in there just fine. But see how much it wiggles? It has room to play in there. And that makes me nervous because I don't want to strip one of these when I go to disassemble it. So I have a T9 here that locks in, but I don't feel like it goes all the way, and it doesn't wiggle at all. I don't feel like it's going all the way to the bottom of the screw, so I'm also kind of worried about stripping it with a T9. That's really frustrating, and I think that's kind of dumb. I don't know why they did that. Yeah, so I don't know. I think I'm going to try the T9 first, because I do think there's no wiggle there. I just don't know if it goes all the way down to the bottom of the screw, and then I'm worried about stripping the top. So that's really annoying. I don't know why they did that, because again, that definitely is going all the way down, and the T9 maybe as well. I don't know though. So anyway, so you got T8s, T6s, and then T8/T9 over here. So that's very un-Civivi-ish. I don't know why they did that. But that's my only gripe about it. We'll see if I have any real issues disassembling this knife. I will include it in the long-term review that you will see on this down the road and let you guys know. But I had to point that out. I wasn't too thrilled about that. But going on to the action, oh my god. The action is absolutely excellent on this knife. One of the best actions on a Civivi I think I've ever handled. And y'all know that says a lot. It's extremely fidgety, going back to, like I mentioned earlier, that perfect cutout. Watch this. So easy to middle finger flick. This knife is middle finger flicking heaven. If you like middle finger flicking a knife, this is a knife you have to try. Flipping it is just as nice. You can light switch it really well, and you can also just push it really well, and it flies out both ways. I really couldn't be happier with the action of this knife. I love doing that on this. In all honesty, though, if there's one thing I would say, I think I might actually, I'm always talking about how Civivi has just nailed the detent game and how it's just absolutely fantastic. And this one is. The detent on this knife is great. But personally, having such a great cutout to middle finger flick, I would like to see just an ever so slightly stronger detent on this. I've never really done this on a knife, but I may be taking this one apart and trying to just put a little more liner pressure on the liner lock, maybe bend it in a little to try and just strengthen that detent just a hair. Because if this was just, I mean, and I literally mean just a hair stronger, because it's already fine. Like when you go to flip it with the flipper, it's spot on. But that middle finger flick would be just a hair better. The middle finger flicking action would be perfect if you could just apply a little more pressure to that detent. Oh, it would be so amazing. As is, though, no real huge complaints. That's just something I'm thinking about doing. Oh my God. So yes, the action on this guy is absolutely phenomenal. Overall thoughts on this knife are extremely positive. Like I said, I had to carry a little longer, so I knew didn't think I was overhyping it. But it's good. It's really, really good. Easily one of my all-time favorite Civivis. Love the aesthetics, materials, and of course this excellent Civivi feel and action. Another Civivi home run. Again, I feel like I say that too often, so I'm trying to tone back on it. But this one, I'm not going to hold back because I really do like it that much. Easily in my top 5, and easily an early contender for Knife of the Year in its respective price category. So you have a lot of options for this. There's brown micarta, there's olive green micarta, there is dark green micarta, and there's also a wooden handle with black Damascus that looks super sweet as well. So you have a lot of options. Pick your poison, but I guarantee you guys, you wouldn't be disappointed with this one. I really, really, really like it. You probably see it more on some lists, or you'll see it in long-term reviews. You're going to see it in my regular carry because it's a good one. Really, really like it. Very well done job by Civivi. Let me know what you guys think about this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.